My name is Eric. I've been a wildlife ranger for a little over 11 years now, and there are things I've seen in the forest that I don't talk about. Not because I don't want to, but because saying them out loud makes them feel real again. This happened when I was transferred to Olympic National Forest up in Washington, specifically to a remote fire watch cabin known officially as Outpost 9, unofficially. The locals called it the Whistler's Perch. The cabin sat on a narrow stone ridge, surrounded by miles of dense forest. No nearby trails, no visitors, just trees, fog, and silence that felt deliberate. Before my first night shift, the other rangers gave me a warning. Not written, not official, just something they said quietly, like they didn't want the forest to hear. If you hear whistling, one of them said, don't respond, don't look for it, and whatever you do, don't whistle back. I thought they were messing with me. Rangers do that sometimes, scare the new guy with stories, legends, things that sound better around a campfire than in a report. But later that night, alone in the cabin, I remember the way they looked when they said it. No smiles, no laughter, just fear. The legend goes back years. A ranger working a solo night shift reported hearing whistling coming from below the ridge. Calm, almost friendly. He assumed it was a hiker who'd gotten lost after dark. He radioed in, said he was going to check the perimeter. That was the last transmission anyone ever heard from him. When they found the cabin the next morning, the door was open, the radio was smashed. The wooden walls were carved with deep grooves, like something had dragged its hands along them over and over again. There was no blood, no signs of a struggle, just footprints circling the cabin. Barefoot, uneven, far too large. My first 3 nights passed without incident. No wind, no animals, no insects. That should have been my first warning. On the 4th night, a little after 2 in the morning, I heard it. A whistle, 3 notes, slow, clean, coming from somewhere below the ridge. I froze. I told myself it was nothing, wind, a bird, my imagination feeding off an old story. Then it whistled again. Closer. There was something wrong about it. The sound lingered too long, bending unnaturally at the end, like whoever or whatever was making it didn't quite understand how whistling was supposed to work. I turned on my flashlight and scanned the tree line. Nothing. But the silence felt heavy, like the forest was listening with me. Then the radio crackled, static at first, and then I heard my own voice. It was repeating something I had said earlier that night. Same words, same tone, but slower, stretched, wrong. That's when I understood. It wasn't trying to scare me, it was studying me. The whistling started moving, circling the cabin, each time coming from a different direction. Too fast. No footsteps, no broken branches, just sound. I stayed perfectly still. Then it stopped. I let myself breathe, just once, and that's when I heard breathing outside the wall. Deep, wet, patient. The door handle slowly turned. I raised my weapon, hands shaking so badly I thought I might drop it. The door didn't open. Instead, something scraped along the wall, stopping right outside the window, in the reflection of the glass. I saw it. It was too tall. Its limbs bent in ways that didn't make sense. Its face was pressed close to the window, but there were no eyes, just a mouth, wide, puckered, ready to whistle. I screamed into the radio for help. Static answered back. Then my voice came through again. Don't answer. Headlights suddenly flooded the trees below the ridge. Back up. The creature recoiled from the window, let out a sound that wasn't a whistle anymore, and disappeared into the forest, like it had never been there. The next morning they found marks all around the cabin. Not claw marks, handprints, pressed so deeply into the wood it looked like the walls had been soft. Outpost 9 was shut down. A week later, a fence went up. Warning signs followed. No entry. Active wildlife hazard. But sometimes, late at night, rangers still hear whistling drifting through the trees. And sometimes it sounds exactly like them.